I feel compelled to once again restate my deep admiration and complete gratitude to J.R.R. Tolkien and Peter Jackson, as well as his amazing team of filmmakers down in New Zealand. If they hadn't crafted something as special as they had, I can't imagine that I would have taken all this time to craft my own cuts of these films. Again, I am not making anything grow, so to speak. I am just pruning, trimming, and reshaping. And also, I must say thank you to all of you out there for your just amazingly positive responses to my cuts of this trilogy. This originally was just a pet project, something that I wanted to do for myself and for my family, so that I got to share it with anyone, and that you all responded as generously as you have, it's just been a gift. So again, thank you so much. And with those two things in mind, I have decided to do something that I really did not think I would do, which is return to the edit bay to sculpt my extended cuts of these films. My previous theatrical cuts really were for everyone. I wanted to ensure that they worked for the casual viewer, someone who didn't need to explore as thoroughly every single corner of this world and all the stories that take place in it. Someone who just wants a compelling story, interesting characters, exciting action and adventure, and a focused growth and progression. Now that I've done that, though, I wanted to make a cut for us Tolkien nerds, people who really do want to explore all of the different things that happened in this time period of Middle-earth. And fortunately, the expanded information and extra story that Tolkien himself provided in the appendices, the extra story and information that Peter Jackson and company did present in their films, is pretty great. Most notably, much of Gandalf's side quest to Dol Guldur.
It's undoubtedly a trap.
After rewatching those sequences recently, though, I just got all the more excited about what I could do with them. Like my theatrical cuts, just continuing to tighten, focus, and shine a spotlight on the very best elements found within them. And I won't yet go into all the minutiae of all the things that I plan to change and how I plan to change them, but my primary aim is to draw out of those sequences all the more mystery and tension. Because, as it stands in the original cuts, many of the questions surrounding the return of Sauron are quite quickly answered, leaving us, the viewer, to just sit around waiting for the characters to catch up. If, for example, Radagast, and we the audience along with him, have already entered Dol Guldur in film 1, not only encountering a Nazgul, but Sauron himself, even if he is in the form of the Necromancer, much of the excitement and mystery that could and should be felt in film 2, when Gandalf, the character that we really know and care about, enters that environment, is lost. On top of that, the White Council scene in film 1 is also made that much less compelling if Radagast brings back this concrete proof that the Necromancer exists, because then it's just a bunch of seemingly wise characters sitting around for an extended period of time, nearly 10 minutes in the film, getting things wrong.
This is not possible. A powerful spell lies upon those tombs. They cannot be opened.
Furthermore, as it currently stands, Gandalf's trip to the High Fells and the desolation of Smaug really does feel rather unnecessary, because he knows, and more importantly we the audience know, that the dagger that Radagast brought out of Dol Guldur does indeed belong to the Witch King. Therefore, there is little to no need to travel to this location to confirm that. What becomes far more interesting then is a much slower drawing back of the curtain behind which Sauron is hiding. And to do this, I will essentially be removing any mention of the Necromancer throughout the trilogy. Now, this may sound crazy, but just go with me for a second. What if Radagast, in an unexpected journey, seeks out Gandalf only because of a brief encounter with some spiders? Spiders that he discovered came from Dol Guldur. But that's it. He has no idea or assumption that it might be a necromancer that's encouraging these spiders to spawn in Dol Guldur. He has no encounter with a wraith. He doesn't collect a dagger. He just has this feeling that something is off, that evil is rising. So when we get to the White Council then, and Saruman quite quickly dismisses Gandalf's concern, we the audience are actually allowed to think, yeah, that's a logical response, because there's really no concrete evidence, just the fearful perspective of Gandalf's kooky friend.
Do not speak to me of Radagast the Brown.
Furthermore, removing Radagast's discovery of the dagger allows Beorn to play that much more of an integral role in the further unraveling of this mystery. So, in film 1, we learn that an unnamed evil has emboldened spiders.
Spiders, Gandalf.
And now we'll learn in film 2 that it's also potentially raising the dead.
The dead had been seen walking near the high fells of Rudauer.
Then, armed only with this information, Gandalf's mission to the High Fells will feel that much more consequential, and the discoveries that he makes there that much more informative.
One of 9.
And like I mentioned previously, when he does finally make it to Dol Guldur in the Desolation of Smaug, the whole environment will still be new to him and to us, imbuing it with that much more dread and terror, as well as allowing what he finds there to continue to, in a much more satisfying way, pull back the curtain on Sauron. What's this? An evil power that summons giant spiders and raises the 9 kings of men, and is hunting for the 7 dwarf rings, as well as the 3 elven rings?
Argunas!
Another larger alteration will actually be holding off on Sauron's full reveal until film 3, allowing this moment to carry that much more power and significance.
Yes,
Yes, this will mean losing some cool shots of Gandalf throwing down with the Necromancer, but narratively and structurally, cutting that sequence will actually improve things significantly. And those are just my plans for the Dol Guldur quest. I will also be reinserting a number of these smaller character moments that will hopefully bring that much more roundedness and depth to the whole ensemble. Thranduil, for example, will really benefit from these extended editions, his underlying motivation and drive much more clearly presented.
Tell me, which have you value more?
I will also be reinserting a few extra moments of fighting and action, but not a lot. So I will bring back in an abridged version of the chariot sequence from the Battle of the Five Armies, as well as a few extra action beats for some of the other dwarves. But not every single one found in Jackson's extended edition will be reinserted into my extended edition. Part of the reason for this really just comes down to taste. Some of the action is just an execution sillier than I prefer. But also, even while my extended editions will be less focused and propulsively paced and structured as compared to my theatrical cuts,
It's an illusion!
I still want them to be as exciting and cinematic of experiences as possible, and throwing in the kitchen sink, so to speak, doesn't really help with that.
The old twiddly whirlies! Ha you bugger!
All this to say, I am so excited to get to work on these extended editions and cannot wait to share them with you guys. And if you're wanting to see them sooner rather than later, anything and everything helps. So if you can support me on Patreon, that will literally afford me time to do this. But if you can just afford a thumbs up or a comment below or a share, that is also extremely, extremely helpful. In the end, these cuts are done with love and with passion and just to share with fans like you guys out there. So bear with me as I continue to work on them. Also, if you are interested in checking out my theatrical cuts of these films, those are available. Simply shoot me a message. The email address is in the description below. Finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.